Hey guys, time to do some language, and let me tell you, today's is a big one. We have page 161 in your book, and if you want to go ahead and open it up to 161, this is a complete review, but this is going to be more marking in sentences than you probably have ever done so far. So the good news is I'm going to be doing it all with you. So strap in, let's see if we can get this done. First, we're going to review our parts of speech that we already know. First is a noun. We know that these are person, place, thing, or idea. And then we have verbs. These are our actions, to roll, to stare, blink, point, run, fall, jog, actions. Then we added in adjectives. Adjectives describe nouns, okay? They will describe what kind of person, what kind of place, what kind of thing, how many things. Now we've added adverbs. Oops, sorry, my face is covering that. But adverbs describe verbs, how we walk, how we play. They usually end in ly. This is what we've been working on recently, okay? So let's take a look at our page. There are five different instructions for these 5 little sentences. So I'm going to be taking it through one instruction at a time and marking them, and I suggest that you follow along with me. All right, here we go. Number 1, draw a line dividing the subject and predicate. We know how to do that. And then number 2, underline the verb twice and underline the subject once. I'm going to do those two together for each sentence. So let's take number 1. The full moon shone brightly on the quiet lake. So our subject is actually moon. And what did the moon do? It shone. So we have moon underlined once, shone twice. Number 2. Some children excitedly watched the comet through a large telescope. Our subject is children, and what did they do? Watched. They didn't excitedly. That's not something you can do, so don't underline that as the verb. We'll get to that word later. Number 3, that star is a dwarf star. So the subject is a star, and the verb is. It is. Star is. There's your subject and verb for number 3. Number 4, Nolan's uncle often studies the constellations. So our subject is actually uncle. Nolan does not study it. His uncle does. So his uncle studies. Our verb is studies. He can't often something. Okay, that comes later. And number 5, now Chris can see the Big Dipper clearly. Chris is our subject, and what is it that he's able to do? He can see. It's a verb phrase. Can see. All right. Let's go to instruction number 3. We're going to draw a box around each noun, including the subject. So we're going to go through all of our sentences here and find all of our nouns. Person, place, thing, idea. All right? First one, our subject will always be a noun. It's always going to be a person, place, or thing, or idea. Okay? So first one in number 1 would be moon. That's a thing. Any other nouns there? I see at the very end, lake. All right? There is another noun there. So that's it for number 1. Let's go to number 2. We've got our subject, children, is definitely, they are people. Let's see what else. We have a comet and telescope. That's our last noun in that sentence. All right. Moving on. We have 2 nouns in the next one, star and star. That one's easy. And then let's look at number 4. Uncle is definitely a person. It's a noun. And then constellations are a thing. Okay, so those are nouns. And last one, number 5, Chris, he's a person. And then we have a compound noun, Big Dipper. That is one noun with two words creating the name of that noun, and it is capitalized. So there's our nouns. Instruction number 4. Now we are going to circle our adjectives and then draw the arrow back to the noun that it describes. So I find that the easiest is to go back to our nouns that are boxed and figure out if there's something that describes those nouns. Okay, that's the easiest way to find your adjectives. So let's go to moon. And what describes the moon? The moon and full moon. And then I'm going to draw those arrows to moon. All right? Easy. Now let's find our next noun, lake. What describes the lake? The lake and quiet lake. Good. And we'll draw our arrows and we're all good. That's number 1. Number 2, let's see what nouns we have. Children. So what describes children? How many children? Some children. There we go. And draw our arrow. What else do we have? Comet. What kind of comet? The comet. And draw our arrow. And the last noun in there is telescope. So a telescope and large telescope. Very good. All right, you with me, guys? I know it's a lot of work here, but we're working through it step by step. Number 3, find that noun, star. What describes star? Which star? That star. And I got to circle it there. And then we also have the next star. What describes it? A star and dwarf star. All right, circle and our arrow. And number 4, whose uncle? It's Nolan's uncle. And then we have constellations over there, and we have the constellations. All right, last sentence. Does anything describe Chris? Nope. And Big Dipper, we've just got the Big Dipper. And that's it for your adjectives, okay? So let's move to our last direction, and it's to circle the adverbs now and then draw an arrow from the adverb to the verb. So now we need to look at our verb and see if there's anything that describes our verb, and that'll tell us if there's an adverb in the sentence. Look at number 1. The verb is shone. How did the moon shone how? Yep, we have one right here. Brightly. It shone brightly. Draw my arrow. Okay? Number 2, the verb is watched. Is there something that describes how the children watched? Yes, there is. Excitedly. They excitedly watched the comet. That's our adverb. Okay, number 3, we've already identified everything in that sentence, so there's no adverbs there. Okay, and look at number 4, the verb is studies. Is there something that describes studies? How often? Yes, he studies them often. All right, and we're going to do our arrow. Number 5, our last one, our verb is can see. And how can they see? They can see it clearly. We've got one here at the end, and I'll draw my arrow all the way back. And there's actually a second adverb. It's when. When can they see it? They can see it now. That's a second adverb in that sentence. Phew. So I don't know about you, but that was a lot of work for me just to get that slide prepared for you and circle all those things and arrow all those things. So I am exhausted, but you still have the bottom half of your paper to complete. It's just fill in the blanks, adding adjectives and adverbs to describe, sort of like a Mad Libs. But good luck on that. I know that you guys will do well, and hopefully this really helped you with your work page for today.